Alright, it's Henry again, and this is part 2 of my review of the Master Grade Hi-Nu Gundam. And before I put all of the outer armor on, I did want to show off the inner frame after it's been painted. So you can see I basically just went with multiple shades of gray, used light gray, dark gray, some steel, brownish gray, threw in a little bit of tan here and there, and then did some hand painting with silver and gray and copper and black. Usually I use gold for little small details on the inner frame, but this time around I decided to use copper. I was going to be using copper for those connectors for the propellant tank, so I figured why not, I'll use copper on the inner frame as well. It'll be a nice little match. Used chrome in a couple places for the hydraulics and the ankle and the knee. And as you can see, he doesn't have a inner frame for the head, so that's just regular old paint. So now let's put all the outer armor on and take a look at this guy finished. And this is what the Hi-Nu Gundam looks like after getting all that outer armor snapped on. And this is the final paint job. As you can see, I went with the standard color scheme. The only thing I really changed up was this gradient. These parts on the funnels used to be solid blue, and I changed them to kind of a gradient pattern going from white and then fading to blue at the end. And then same thing with the shield. I filled in all the seam lines from where they had that molded in block pattern, and then just did a gradient from blue to white on the shield as well. Everything else is basically just a little bit of subtle pre-shading, and that's it. I used silver for the silver parts, white, a little bit of shading on there. The blue, sometimes the more traditional Hi-Nu Gundams use kind of a darker purplish blue, but I really liked the light blue that they used for the Master Grade, so I tried to mix up a shade of blue that was the same color that the molded plastic was in, and I think it turned out pretty nicely. A little bit of copper there on the propellant tanks. So overall I think the paint job turned out pretty snazzy. And the decals, I used a few dry transfers that came with the kit, like the Londo Bell and the EFSF on the skirt armor, these 01 and the little unicorn Amuro crest on the shoulders. Those are dry transfers. I got a few decals from Samuel Decal, like you got these little unicorn Amuro crests on the funnels with Roman numerals 1 through 6, one for each funnel. And then this large one for the shield that came from Samuel Decal. Everything else on the kit, all the other caution markings, were just left over from various Master Grades, mostly Master Grade Death Scythe and Victory Gundam. So I think that about does it for my explanation of the paint job. Now let's get into the weapons. Now the first weapon, like almost every Gundam comes with, is of course a beam rifle. And from the outside it looks pretty simple. It doesn't have any moving, actually no, it has one little moving part. Over here you've got a small little panel that'll flip out, and that's just going to allow you to connect the beam rifle to the back skirt, like so. Pull that out. And other than that, it's pretty simple. It has a peg in both sides of the handle, so you can put it in the right or left hand. And yeah. But one thing that I really like about this beam rifle that you really can't see right now is the internal detail on it. I kind of modified this white part in such a way that I cemented that together, filled in that seam line, and then cut out all the pegs so I could remove it and show off this very nice detail on the inside of this beam rifle. It's really a shame that Bandai has us cover it all up because it looks really good. But anyway, snap that back on, and like I said, has a peg in the hand that'll fit into a slot on the handle. Fits very securely. The beam rifle isn't very big at all and not very heavy, and he will have absolutely no trouble holding this thing at all. So beam rifle gets a thumbs up. Next up is the shield. Now, as you saw in part 1, the shield was originally had kind of a zigzaggy block pattern in blue and white plastic, and as I mentioned in the work in progress videos, I removed that and then just did a gradient from blue to white. Backside of the shield, you have a simple little connector here. Very nice mechanical detail, originally molded all in silver. I wanted to paint that in some different shades of gray. And it's going to connect on the back of the forearm. Much like Nu Gundam, Hi-Nu Gundam has a shield where it connects on the back of the forearm, and you've got to have the arm turned sideways to have the shield out to the side, or turn the arm completely around to have it facing forward. Otherwise, the shield is going to be facing toward the back, and in Hi-Nu Gundam's case, that's made even more difficult because he's got all these funnels back here, so I'm not really I like the shield, but I don't like the way the shield connects. But that's Hi-Nu Gundam's design, so there's really not much we can do about it, aside from totally redesigning the way the shield connects. But I'm just more of a fan of connectors where it'll connect on the back, but you got like a peg that will come around to the side and connect the shield to the side of the arm. But anyway, it is what it is, so that's how the shield goes on. And of course, the Hi-Nu Gundam also comes with a bazooka. Here it is. Comes molded in white and silver plastic. Actually, I think the handle is in gunmetal. I just painted it white. The magazine is removable. You can see some little missiles down in there. Put that back in place. The handle can swing forward and back. That is going to help out tremendously for him being able to actually hold this thing. And really the easiest way to do it is to move these funnels out of the way. Bring the handle very, very far forward and just do an over-the-shoulder pose. It's got a little ridge in the handle for connecting to that peg in the hand, but with an over-the-shoulder pose you're really not even going to need it because it's going to rest on the shoulder anyway. And to me, this is probably the best way to go about it. I suppose you could also tuck it up under the arm, but honestly I think this is going to look a little bit better. So that is the bazooka. Now the Hi-Nu Gundam has another little gun down here. It's really more of a gimmick than an actual weapon. Bring his arm up, rotate it around. He's got a little gun on the right forearm. The barrel, very, very short right there. It actually is on a small little hinge, so it can go up and down ever so slightly. And the magazine here is removable. You can take that out, put it back in, kind of like the Zeta Gundam. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Now, onto the beam sabers. You've got 3 beam sabers on this kit. Got 2 regular length beam sabers and then 1 teeny tiny little one. You get 4 beam saber blades, 2 standard length beam saber blades, and then 2 shorter ones, because these beam sabers are double-sided, or at least the larger beam sabers are. The little small beam saber is only single-sided. So you can put them together like Darth Maul and 00 Riser and all those other mobile suits that have double-sided beam sabers. Those seem to be becoming more and more popular these days. It's got a peg in the side of the beam saber, or slot in the side of the beam saber, I'm sorry, which will fit into the peg, and the hand, which honestly, being a beam saber, you probably don't even need. But of course, he's going to hold that no problem. That's a beam saber. And then, for storage, I actually like the storage for these things. It goes into the funnel racks up here. You've got a little door that's going to open up, and you've actually got some nice little mechanical detail down in there. And then on the door itself, right here, you've got a peg protruding out. Actually, no, I need to flip that around. And it's going to fit into the slot on the beam saber, just like so. Close that up, and they are stored away. Or at least the 2 larger beam sabers are stored away. The smaller beam saber is actually stored on the forearm here, the left forearm. Got this little guy. Now this worked out a lot easier before I painted the kit. So I'm trying to be very, very gentle with this, or as gentle as I can be while still getting it open. Alright, I finally popped this thing all the way open. See, it opens up pretty far once you actually get it. And then there's a little peg down in there that the beam saber is going to fit onto. And you can simply close that up like so. And the smaller beam saber, coincidentally, doesn't use the smaller beam saber blades. It uses the larger beam saber blades, oddly enough. Now, one of the cool features of this kit is that it comes with its own display base. A very nice looking display base, I think. Large Amuro symbol with a very long connecting arm coming out of it. And the way it's going to do, it doesn't move like an action base or anything, but you can take the joints out and move them at different angles, like up, and then you can move it at another angle, and then the same thing up here. You've got like 3 different angles you can move it at here, and likewise rotating that side to side at 3 different angles. And the way it's going to connect to New Gundam, unlike most display bases which connect up in the crotch, you've got a teeny tiny little white panel that you're going to remove right between the propellant tanks there. And this guy is going to fit right up in there. And it's actually a pretty secure connection. And he's just going to kind of hang from it like so. And I actually really, really like this, the way this is arranged. He's kind of floating right above this large Amuro symbol, and he hangs there. The legs are free to move wherever you want them to go, unlike on a action base 1, say, where the legs can be kind of restricted because the display base is connecting up with the crotch. So I really, really like the way they pulled off that display base. One more thing you can do with it is these little panels that I mentioned that you'll be pulling off of Hi-Nu Gundam. You can actually store those on the underside of the display base like so. It's got 2 different panels and 2 different size places to connect them. And having an additional feature, you can also connect the funnels to the display base. And the way we're going to do that is Bandai has given us several things. They've given us some clear rods. It's kind of a clear, soft, flexible plastic so you can bend them. They come straight. They give us some effect parts molded in clear blue for the funnels. And they give us these very, very nice looking clear effect parts that are going to go between the funnels. You've got 12 of them, so you'll be putting 2 in each funnel. And it's clear and fades to clear orange, and it's got this nice chrome silver electricity effect on there, and I really think these look very, very nice. So the way we are going to do this is we're going to take one of these funnels off. Now originally when this kit was unpainted, I found that the funnels came off pretty easily. That's why I took them off to do the articulation portion of the review. But I found that since I've painted it, they stay in place pretty well. They don't actually clip in anywhere. They just kind of stay in place with friction. But like I said, after painting, they tend to stay put pretty nicely. Anyway, they're folded up like so. And you're just going to open them up like this, have it out flat, and you will be taking, if I can bend it the right way, there we go. You'll be taking these little clear effect parts. You've got some little slots down on the underside of the funnel, and you're just going to fit those in there, and then bring that side down, line up the tabs with the slots, and there you go. You've got your clear effect parts in there, and since you got two of them in there, it gives kind of a three-dimensional look to it, so it's not just one flat piece of plastic down inside there. Then you'll be taking the little clear blue effect part. It's got a plastic piece with 4 pegs on it. It's going to fit into these 4 little tiny thrusters on the back of the funnel, like so. And then you'll be taking your clear rod, and it's going to go into the back of the effect part, just like that. And then we've got these little things on the side of the display base which can flip open and closed, and each one has 3 holes that you'll simply put the rods into with the funnels. And once you get all the funnels up on the rods on the display base, this is what it's going to end up looking like. Now, pretty much the main complaint most people have with this kit is the rods for the funnels. And in theory, this display base works very, very well. But in practice, it really has one problem: bounciness. As you can see, all of these funnels are very, very bouncy. And even New Gundam is very, very bouncy himself. Just from the way it connects to the display base back here. It's anytime you get up or out of your chair, or walk through the room, this thing is going to start jiggling around. And these little acrylic rods, I don't even know if they're acrylic, little clear plastic rods. It's a flexible plastic. You can bend it. As you can see, they come straight, but you can bend them at an angle like so. And you've got 3 little peg things down here for you to put them in. And they work okay, but they're bouncy, and it's kind of hard to get them at a really cool looking angle. They honestly look kind of like flowers to me, just like a big funnel flower arrangement that just sits up under the Hi-Nu Gundam. Really doesn't look as menacing as they should. But I will give Bandai props for trying, because on the original Master Grade New Gundam, they didn't even try anything like this. And the fact that it comes with this really cool looking Amuro-shaped display base, and it actually does come with these very, very nice looking effect parts, in my opinion, for the funnels, and you actually get the rods. I think Bandai should at least get some credit for trying. Also, there are several places along the I guess spine or neck of the display base to insert these little clear rods. They just kind of fit in there, and then you'll have to bend it at an angle to make it come out from the side. So you can go in on either side of this thing, and then up here at the top as well. But if for whatever reason you don't want to use the display base that comes with the kit, you do get an action base connector that will connect to a standard action base 1. And this one's going to connect differently. You've got a small panel up under the crotch. You're just going to be pulling that out, and it'll fit right on the action base like so. And you can pull off your aerial poses on a standard action base. And for comparison, here's the Hi-Nu Gundam next to its brother mobile suit, or sister mobile suit maybe, the New Gundam. This is the original Master Grade 1.0. And as you can see, the Hi-Nu Gundam isn't quite as big as New Gundam. That's pretty much the way it's always been. Even in the high grades, the Hi-Nu Gundam is just a little bit smaller than the New Gundam, even though it has a pretty different design. And based on the same concept, still a little bit smaller, but definitely a lot different in the looks department. So there you go. That is your comparison between the two Master Grades. So that about does it for my review of the Master Grade Hi-Nu Gundam, and there is a lot to like about this kit. The inner frame and the detail on the inner frame is very, very nice. The only real part of the inner frame it lacks is the head. All of the outer armor is very well detailed. You've got lots and lots of little panel lines all over the kit. Very, very nice color separation. In fact, the only stickers they give you for actual color are 2 little stickers that go inside the belly cockpit area, and I didn't even bother painting that, I just left it white. But all the other color separation is done in the plastic for you, and just really, really nice looking kit aesthetically. The only thing I wasn't crazy about was the silver plastic, but that's just, you know, it's hard to get that silver and gold plastic to look good. It just doesn't look good, so you're going to be better off painting over that anyway. The weapons and accessories are all nice. The beam rifle is simple, but it's very nicely detailed. Again, with the shield, I really like the fact that Bandai did the zigzag block pattern on it. I thought that looked really, really cool. Even though I didn't go with that on mine, I still think it looks cool. The funnels, I think, are really, really nice. The funnels themselves are nice, even though the rods connecting them to the display base leave a little bit to be desired. They're kind of bouncy, and it's hard to pose them at a cool angle. I think Bandai learned their lesson on that and did a much better job on the New Gundam Verka. But, you know, this was a really nice first attempt, and I'm glad Bandai actually attempted to do it instead of saying, oh, this is just kind of bouncy and floppy, let's not include it at all. I'm glad they actually included it, even if it didn't work out as good as it should have. The effect parts that go between the funnels I really, really like. Those do look really cool in my opinion. Let's see, what else? Just everything about this kit I like, with the exception of the bouncy fin funnels on the display base. The display base itself is very, very nice. I do like it. I like the fact that it's a giant Amuro symbol, and I like the way that New Gundam kind of hangs from it instead of, you know, the display base going up under the crotch like every other action base and display base out there. Poseability on this kit is very, very nice. Sometimes you'll get a few awkward situations where, you know, the funnels will get in the way, or maybe the skirt armor gets in the way. The hips are a little bit tight, in my opinion, but other than that, poseability and articulation is great. Just overall a very, very nice kit. And it is a pricey master grade. You know, 7,000 yen is a lot for a 1:100 scale kit, but I mean, look at this box. It's a perfect grade sized box, and you're getting a lot of stuff in that box, so just a very, very nicely done kit in my opinion. I would absolutely recommend it to anybody who is even slightly interested in this guy. So that about does it for this review, and with that, I'll see you guys next time. Hi-Nu Gundam is great, but you know, I wish that there was like some kind of giant rival mobile suit or something that I could pit my new Hi-Nu Gundam against. You know, just some kind of, I don't know, big mobile armorish, big menacing thing that I could have fight against Hi-Nu Gundam. God, I wish that something like that existed and that Bandai made a model kit of it, because that would be really cool. That'd just be such a cool display to have, you know, these two super powerful new type mobile suits fighting against each other, and I just wish that there was something like that out there that I could build. Oh.